Hello YouTube, this is DVD Review Studios here, and today I shall be doing a video revisiting something that I have previously covered on the channel a couple of years ago. And this, I guess, will be a more updated look, really more so out of morbid curiosity, because unfortunately I got scammed with a set of bootlegs for the TV show Bob's Burgers, a show that I'm a very big fan of. It's one that I've wanted to try and complete the collection of on DVD. Unfortunately, due to how expensive the sets are and how difficult they are to get in the UK, I only have seasons 1 through to 5 officially, and while browsing eBay, I thought I would take a look and see if there was any alternatives, and I got scammed with a set of fakes, which I was reassured that these DVDs in question were legitimate, but sadly, that is not the case. So I thought I'd cover this on the channel, perhaps as maybe a bit of a help guide to point out some of the obvious details that are clear, I guess, giveaways or signifiers as to what makes a DVD a fake or a bootleg copy. And some of these DVD sets genuinely are of a really good quality, making it extremely difficult to spot. Others, on the other hand, which I've had in the collection for a little while, which I made videos on previously, not so difficult to spot. These are very obvious fakes in comparison. For those unfamiliar, I would arguably say Bob's Burgers has had really one of the most inconsistent lines of DVD releases that I have ever seen. The first season was absolutely fantastic. It's a proper, I guess, store-bought DVD set that you could have found in various American retailers, and it includes bonus features on there. Obviously all the episodes are included, and these were manufactured onto your typical silverback DVDs. Absolutely fine. And then for season 2 onwards, unfortunately Fox went the cheaper alternative route, and so these now sadly became watered down made-on-demand editions, which are usually manufactured through Amazon, and the difference being that these are so cheap in how they are manufactured since they're produced onto purple-back DVD-Rs. And DVD-Rs aren't always a bad thing, but to be perfectly honest, the quality of these for what you pay for them, they are ludicrously expensive for something that is going to scratch much easier. And beyond season 2, which had a bonus feature on there, they don't have bonus features or subtitles or really anything of any consequence beyond obviously just the episodes themselves. And even the episodes, to be honest, are not the best quality on some of the discs. On Season 2 and Season 3, there were a couple of issues that I had with my DVD sets where the coloration was a little bit screwed up, and particularly on Season 3, I had a copy of this ages ago where one of the episodes actually skipped entirely, and so I rebought the DVD set having returned it to the supplier that I got it from, and thankfully the replacement was all okay, but still, yeah, not something you really expect, especially from a series so beloved like Bob's Burgers, with the fandom that surrounds this particular series, where DVDs to an extent are in demand for a show like this. And so with that in mind, I feel that with the DVD-R versions that are released by Amazon, unfortunately that has opened up the opportunity for fake bootlegs to be created of this series. And so this brings me to my own personal story/experience with unfortunately being ripped off with a set of fake bootlegs, where the eBay seller is sadly not been very forthcoming, to put it politely, about what has actually gone on in relation to this transaction. As I record this video, the feud is still ongoing, where I'm still awaiting to get a label sent over to me and a refund sorted out for these fake sets. And so I thought I'd take the opportunity to obviously film and I guess document this, really, I guess, just in case I need any additional evidence as to why these are fake, perhaps. But like I mentioned at the start of the video, I would like to think it would be helpful for those out there that are thinking of getting the show on DVD, that obviously don't want to be scammed by fake bootlegs, despite, I guess, the quality of the actual genuine releases still not being so great, but I would argue and say that the official releases are certainly better than what I have experienced with these bootlegs. And so we have Season 7, Season 8, and Season 10, which I bought in a bundle from the same seller. Before going ahead and making the purchase, I did, funnily enough, message the seller, in all good faith I would like to think, literally just asking, are these legitimate DVDs or are they bootlegs? I'm aware that there are bootlegs of these particular seasons out there. And they came back confirming that they are 100% legitimate, and they too were, funnily enough, aware of there being fakes of these DVDs spreading around. So I guess I kind of took some comfort from that, from the fact that they are kind of already aware of the situation. So foolishly, I went ahead and made the purchase, and once I received the DVD sets, yeah, these are unfortunately all fake. I've left these two sealed, but I opened up the Season 7 set just to obviously check things out. The instant signifier for this one was the quality of the DVD case. Any fakes that I have ever come across, which I've only had a handful of these in the past, and I do have one of these other Bob's Burgers ones on hand in the original case it was supplied in. These cases are very cheap plastic. They smell awful, in all honesty. They are not very well manufactured. They don't even close properly in some instances, but yeah, looking at this one in particular, very similar, very rough quality, just this shiny black case with the exact same swing tray design as this one. Both of these, bear in mind, are meant to be Season 7, and I think before this official looking Season 7 was released, this is what was spreading around the internet, because at the time that I bought this, back in 2018 I believe, Season 6 and 7 hadn't come out by that point. So this was a cheap alternative to grab the episodes, and I actually got this DVD free of charge by calling out the seller. You can check out my previous video on this subject where I detail obviously what happened in that particular instance. So obviously you can tell the cases, these two are identical in terms of how the quality is. Definitely not the best, and certainly something that I think is a huge signifier to show obviously that these are not genuine produced. And then comparing that to this legitimate copy I have of Season 7, which I picked up for comparison purposes, this is a genuine made-on-demand edition bought directly through Amazon USA. And the quality of this one isn't great, but it's exactly what you would expect from a made-on-demand edition. And so the case quality is much better standard compared to what I've had with the other two cases. And the episodes included on here are of absolutely fantastic quality, especially for a DVD release. Before we look at the DVD sets in depth, I just thought I'd show these ones off since they are still new sealed, and I'm going to keep them that way for when I do hopefully return them back to the eBay seller that I got them from. But I was very surprised at the quality of the shrink wrap on these. Usually what I've come across with bootlegs that I've had previously, they're shrink wrapped in what's almost like sort of kitchen, sort of cling film, that sort of thing. With these, it's a very thick packing on there, and to be honest, it's not something I've really come across before, but you can definitely tell the difference, and it's even kind of shaling off in some parts of it, which is really strange. Definitely not something I've come across before. It's literally just, yeah, I don't really know how to describe it, but you can tell the texture of it is very different, certainly not the norm from what you'd expect from just buying a DVD in a supermarket, perhaps, something to that description. So I think the packing of what these are supplied in can be a bit of a telltale sign. These even have like tape going across the bottom, down the center, as though it had been literally just loaded off, maybe like a pallet or something to that extent. I'm not too sure, but yeah, something like that I would like to think you could perhaps notice straight away from how they are packaged and how you receive them. One method that certainly does work if you have a fake and a real copy together at the same time is comparing the print quality of the actual DVD slip, which honestly, for the cover art on both of these, they do look more or less identical, but you really can tell the print quality difference once you have them together. So again, for demonstration purposes, the one on the right hand side is legit, the one on the left is sadly not. You can tell the print difference there. I mean, look at Linda, it looks as though she's had a tan or something. And again, print quality on the back of these DVD sets, as you can see from the artwork, very pixelated on the fake one. Certainly not the best print quality, and even though the quality isn't terrific on the legit one, you can certainly tell the difference and see just how awfully pixelated the bootleg is in comparison. Another obvious one would be the barcodes, in particular in this instance where the barcodes are noticeably very different. Surprisingly, they do actually match up with the same numbers on there, but beyond that, they are obviously of a different design, and this one has in very small lettering the fact that it has been manufactured on demand by Amazon, but whether or not that's true, I highly doubt it, to be perfectly honest. And then looking at the information on the back of the DVD set, these ones do match up more or less identically, but I did note that on some previous bootlegs I've had where you have these anti-piracy logos, they are actually surprisingly missing on some bootlegs, so that's something to definitely keep an eye out for. The case quality being another obvious one, which I did speak about before, where literally you can see just parts of the case on this fake one. They're just scaling off. It's absolutely awful, the fact that these are just manufactured in such a way. The DVD discs themselves, especially for the Bob's Burgers ones, are a little bit of a giveaway as well. So this one is surprisingly the legitimate one, and this one, which is actually slightly embossed with the Bob's Burgers info, is surprisingly the fake one. But this one is a made-on-demand edition DVD with the purple back, that being the real one, and then the fake one looks to have this really bizarre sort of trim around the edge where the data actually doesn't even reach like the full amount of the disc, which is kind of bizarre. And last, of course, is the actual episode quality, which the DVD menu on the bootleg I picked up recently was pretty bad. Kind of pixelated lettering when you would go to select an episode. And then the actual quality of the episodes, very grainy, especially when sort of looking at particularly sort of detailed bits of animation. It just showed up and was kind of obvious that there was something not quite right about the actual burnt episodes on the disc. So I guess it's kind of hit or miss as to whether or not you would notice such a thing, but by comparing the first episode on this DVD set, which was actually one of my favorites, Fluise, that one was a very good episode, and certainly bits that had more intricate animation to them, you could really tell there was a lot of distortion to the episode, which is kind of unfortunate. So that's going to do it for this brief video looking at these fake bootleg Bob's Burgers DVDs. I hope you found this video to be of interest. Like I mentioned before, this feud in relation to the eBay seller I got Season 7, 8 and 10 from is still ongoing, so I guess I'll put an update either in a pinned comment or in the description as to how this fiasco eventually got resolved. But otherwise, if you did find this video of interest, be sure to let me know in the comments. Have you ever had any experience with fakes or bootlegs? I would be interested to hear people's thoughts and opinions on that kind of situation. And for more content, be sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel, DVD Review Studios, for more upcoming videos.
Are you threatening me?